Welcome, Colts Nation. Welcome back to another Bring the Juice Colts podcast live stream. And guys, we did not expect to have a live stream coming up this morning, but guess what? There's a lot of optimism in the building, and you know why that is? Because the Colts this Friday morning just signed former All-Pro corner Stephon Gilmore. Guys, it finally happened, and I just have one thing to say about it. Let's go, dude, let's go.
Yes.
Dude, oh my gosh, Cody, we were talking about it last night, dude.
Yeah.
We were talking about it last night. Stephon Gilmore, all these things saying it was going to be, they expected a deal to get done because they were like, dude, I mean, he liked his visit. They treated him well. They showed him everything he wanted. And Stephon Gilmore, 3 years off of becoming an All-Pro, is now going to be joining this defense, dude.
Yes. Yeah, man. I mean, holy cow. Talk about an offseason for this defense. I mean, you trade Rocky Sin, right, to the Raiders. So you have a hole at corner, but you fill pass rush. We've talked about it all the time, Derek. We've said, hey, if you're choosing between a top corner and a top pass rusher, you choose pass rusher every time. But then to turn around and not just sign Rodney McLeod, who's a really good safety, and I think will provide really good depth and could start in spots, but also now to get a former, not just a former Pro Bowler, a former Defensive Player of the Year. Now you have a player. This is crazy. And I tweeted this out yesterday on the podcast page. You now have at all three levels of your defense an all-pro player, a player who has those accolades. And on top of that, you also have a Pro Bowl player alongside of them as well. So, I mean, now you look at this defense. What do you have to address, man? This is what we've been trying to say for so long. This defense, every single level is elite. I mean, you can say that at this point, you know? Like, it's very good to elite. Like, there's really very little weaknesses at this point. Contingent, of course, on Stephon Gilmore staying healthy, which is a question mark. But, yeah, I mean, to get him for what? 2 years, $23 million, $14 million of that guaranteed. That's really good.
That was really good contract, dude. I thought I kind of thought it would be a little bit higher than that. So I'm really happy about it. And only 14 million guaranteed. I mean, I figured that the guaranteed money is what was going to happen in order to make sure that that a deal got done. That's what they were reporting, is that the guaranteed money was going to have to be what it needed to be done to do that. But then again, the 2 years, 23 million. So you're paying this guy under 12 million a year, which again is phenomenal. The guaranteed money, I'm not too worried about. You still want to see him, perform at a good level here in the first year to see what happens. But again, we were talking about it so much yesterday on our live stream, dude. Yeah. I mean, Ballard, I love you, man. Thank you so much for actually making that big splash move. Guys, Stephon Gilmore was the best free agent, one of the best free agents left on the market as of right now. So,
yeah, and it's funny now, where are those people who were saying bargain Ben Ballard, bro? Because he's gone out this offseason. He's paid for a pass rusher with Yannick, $13 million a year. He's paid for Matt Ryan, and now he's paid for Stephon Gilmore. So he's got, some big splash free agent signings. I mean, people are trying. They were at one point. It's funny because people were trying to say this is exactly like last offseason. This is not like last offseason. Let me tell you what. This is the moves that we felt like the Colts needed to make, right? Because we said this team is talented, right? They have core pieces. They've built their foundation. And this is what Ballard has alluded to that he hadn't done really in the past is he's even said this about free agency. He said, if we feel like this team or a certain player can add that value and build on top of what we've already built, we're going to do that. And a lot of people thought he's just blowing smoke. He's not really truthful about that. But here we go. Now your defense has, I mean, it's wild, Derek, from what you've upgraded to. I mean, last season, you had Al-Qadim Muhammad at defensive end. You had Rocky Sin at corner. Okay, Rocky Sin is a pretty good corner. But now you got Yannick Ngakoue, one of the best pass rushers in the league, and you got Stephon Gilmore, one of the best corners in the league when he's healthy. So to me, that's a massive win right there in itself.
And Michael mentioned it on the live stream last night saying, even if he never gets back to that all-pro for him, which we assume he's not. He's not the same guy he was in 2019.
Right.
But then again, a very smart corner, a guy that understands football, and a guy that is not going to need to be developed. He's already developed. He knows how to do these things. And also in Gus Bradley's system of playing primarily zone, that could potentially add an extra year onto his playing career because he doesn't have to play straight man-to-man all the time. He can cover that one zone and be aggressive and be that kind of corner that he likes to be. And that's what helps with this. And, you know, looking at the whole scheme of everything that's happened for the Colts so far, I mean, again, looking at this offseason, they have made splash after splash move at this point. Haven't done a lot of them, but you traded Rock Ya-Sin to get Yannick Ngakoue. You traded for Matt Ryan. You brought in Stephon Gilmore. You did other things like this. It's a lot of good that has come out of it. Some big moves that have been made. You obviously signed Rodney McLeod and a few other boys as well. Ballard has really, over the last few weeks, been really dialing into this defense, Cody. I mean, we can say what we want, but Ballard really is overhauling on this defense right now, really starting to take the steps that he feels is necessary to get this defense where it's at. I mean, this defense was a fringe top 10 defense when it was under Matt Eberflus. And now we have this new defensive coordinator that's widely regarded as one of the best coordinators in football. You now added Stephon Gilmore. You added Rodney McLeod, both guys who have been to a championship before, and bringing in Yannick Ngakoue, who's still one of the best pass rushers in the league. I mean, this defense is ready to go, Cody, and I'm loving it.
You think Ron Miles and Mike Mitchell are happy people right now? They're happy men in that building, I think, with the two signings they just had.
Darius Leonard out here having the time of his life. I got to find that GIF. Oh, here it is.
Oh man.
I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to go ahead and show y'all what Darius Leonard's reaction to this news is. That's Darius Leonard's reaction right there.
That's amazing.
If that don't tell you what the Colts players are feeling right now with the news of this, it's hilarious, man. I love it. I love it. Darius Leonard's happy. If Darius Leonard is happy, I'm happy, because that means they got somebody on the defense that he can trust.
So let's just look at a grand scheme of this defense overall right now. And just talk about all the top players, or I would say potentially fringe top 5 players of their position. Some guys are around that 5, some guys are around that 1. DeForest Buckner, I think he's within that conversation, the top 5 3 techs in the league. Yannick Ngakoue is certainly up there when it comes to pass rush. I don't know if he's top 5, but he's certainly in that conversation. I think you can't have a conversation without him. Darius Leonard, we know, one of, if not the best linebackers in all of football. Stephon Gilmore, one of the best corners in all of football when he's healthy. I mean, my goodness, it just seems like you look at every level of this defense, and there's a guy that you could make an argument they can be a top 5 player at their position, which is something we did not have last year. We could not say last year. We had guys that we liked. We had Buckner, we had Leonard, but this is just taking it to another level, man. I never in my wildest dreams thought Stephon Gilmore was going to be a Colt. I really never thought.
And I'm so excited because I was saying that back in February. You know this. I was talking with you and so many other people for so long that if there's one corner in this whole scheme of things that I wanted on this team, it was Stephon Gilmore when we're talking about corners specifically. And we got him for under $12 million a year, man.
Yeah.
For under $12 million a year. I'm sure that because of the fact that he only played 19 games in the last 2 years, probably brought him down a few million in the market value. I get that, and that's very obvious. But dude, I'm so happy, dude. Hey, Dirtified, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Been rocking this thing out for like 6 weeks now.
We've gone through the excitement and the pain of the Honey Badger not coming to Indy. We've gone through the excitement and pain of guys like Jarvis Landry, all that stuff. And now it just feels good. I don't know about you, Derek, but it feels.
You think this was the guy that Irsay was talking about? One of the guys that Irsay was talking about when he said Ballard had his hands on a few big name free agent guys?
I think he was one of them. I think the Honey Badger was certainly probably in that conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't think Jim Irsay specifically said this is the only guy that we're looking at. He just said there's a veteran defender that we're looking at, you know. And I don't know if that was Stephon Gilmore or it could have been both. He could have just said, we're looking to add one of these guys. There's a couple guys out there. We're looking to add one of them. And honestly, Derek, if you're making me choose, and this might be a little controversial, I don't know, but cornerback was the bigger need. Stephon Gilmore, in my opinion, when he's healthy, is a better player than Honey Badger's fantastic, right? But at a premium position that you need right now, Stephon Gilmore made so much more sense than a Honey Badger, right? Because you have answers at safety if they're healthy, right? You have Julian Blackmon. You have Rodney McLeod. You have Corey Willis. Cornerback, who did you really have, you know, especially with Rock and Xavier Rhodes leaving? Who else did you have? So it's wild, man. It's wild that we've come to this place, but this defense is looking really good right now. I mean, holy smokes.
I mean, you know, I think the Colts are going to pay, they're paying Rodney McLeod and Stephon Gilmore about what, 6-7 million more than what Tyrann Mathieu would have done, but you get two players, guys that have that championship level experience in there. Of course, Tyrann Mathieu might be better than Rodney McLeod and you know, and maybe better than Stephon Gilmore at this point. But then again, what I'm saying is, and thank you to the 200 people that are in here. Be sure to smash that like button, guys, if you haven't already.
Push it out. But
yeah, it's great to get another veteran level guy in there. A guy that, again, is not going to take nonsense. We said it a million times, and we've said it just this past week, Cody, that something in that defensive room just wasn't right. In the locker room in general, it just wasn't right. And Hoosier Films for the $5 super chat. Thank you so very much. That. Again, Ballard's patience pays off, proving once again he's smarter than all of us. Yeah, that's usually about right. But that's about right. Thank you for the $5 super chat, by the way.
To your point, Derek, I mean, look at what you've added on this defensive side. Look at just the vet experience that you've added. You added McLeod, who, you know, was a great signing for the Eagles. Eagles fans were pretty upset when he actually left, you know, and then you had Stephon Gilmore, who we all know, you know, he's a guy that he's quiet, but he's competitive as anyone, man. Like he is. And I think one thing that is going to be big that we're maybe not talking about as much is what this means for the other Colts corners. How well, you know, he's going to be able to teach them, because Stephon Gilmore's, I would argue, the smartest corner in the league, right? And to think of the things that he can teach in Isaiah Rodgers, even Kenny Moore to a degree, you know, like this is a guy that like has just been there and done that. And he's going to be able now for 2 years to share that wisdom with these young corners. And I think that's super valuable to have that kind of guy in your locker room. But yeah, it's kind of similar in a way. I think it's I don't remember what the Justin Houston, like money-wise, what it was, but it was a 2-year deal. We actually talked about that on stream a little bit, Derek. It was like, what could you see that potentially being a Justin Houston-like signing, right? Like, could it be a 2-year kind of deal where, okay, now if Stephon Gilmore stays healthy, you're good at corner for at least 2 years, you know, and maybe you dress corner next year, but certainly you don't really feel like you need to address it. Like it's kind of like what you've done with quarterback in a way where, you know, you've given yourself at least 2 years. Now we'll see, you know, if he gets hurt or whatever, doesn't live up to expectations, maybe he's gone out of this year. But, you know, my point remains, like, you know, you haven't backed yourself in a corner when it comes to corner. You actually can have the freedom. If you like a guy this year, cool, take him. But if you don't, you got next year, you know, to potentially find a guy, whether that's free agency, whether that's the draft, or if Gilmore's still playing good, you re-sign him again, you know? So,
yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, dude.
It's still unreal.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
We did it, man. We did it. Where the patience paid off. And yes, we finally did it. I was just afraid that this was just going to be another one of those signings or just another one of those people that was like, oh man, you know, I like this visit from the Colts, but you know, the Colts, I don't know if they're going to give me a good deal. And Peyton Nugel for the $3 super chat. Thank you. This was a great deal. Now, would Julio be a bad thing? Well, first off, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. Cody, I also did read this morning that the Colts are the front runner to land Julio.
Really?
Just because of fit, obviously, due to the fact that Matt Ryan's now the quarterback. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it if they got him for cheap.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to wait till after the draft to see what they can do, you know, guys they do or don't get. And then, okay, if they still feel like they have a need at wide receiver, some of these guys will most likely, I think Julio included, will be available, right? That's kind of how a lot of these guys, they kind of waited out for a team, who hasn't addressed wide receiver or still feels like they have a need where free agency is their only option at that point. So I could see that being maybe a post-draft kind of signing if it does happen. Yeah. You're trying to keep up with all the comments here.
I'm trying to get a poll up in here for the community. So if you guys see the poll in the chat, make sure you check that out. I was already asking if everybody liked the contract with Gilmore, and like 99% of people were saying yes. So I think that's a firm. But now I just kind of want to see what everybody says about the about Gilmore making them a top 5 defense now.
I think so. If he's healthy, of course.
If he's healthy.
Like where do you look and you say, oh man, they really don't have an answer there? I don't know where you say that, because the only question I would have, man, on the defense is just depth. And even so, and safety depth's good. I feel like
Ballard's still getting some. And Ballard's still going out and signing guys.
Yeah.
I mean, so we've had visits from college guys at corner. We're even in the running for signing another safety in free agency. Ballard does not want to get stuck in an Andrew Sendejo moment anymore. No, that doesn't want to happen again, where they run, because we saw it this last year, Cody, in several occasions, the depth being tested. Offensive line-wise, depth got tested. Cornerback, depth got tested. Only difference is offensive line depth, that held. The cornerback depth did not do that. Cornerback and safety help did not do that. So Ballard saying, I need to get guys in this secondary that are going to be available if something happens.
Yeah, you botched it last year at the safety position. Like you had answers, and you just, for some reason, you didn't let Andre, however you say his name. We don't have to say his name anymore, but you know what I mean. I always mispronounce it, so I don't want to mispronounce it again. But yeah, I mean, you had it potential answers, and you just didn't address it for some weird reason. And the guys you did sign were pretty ineffective. Both Sean Davis's, if you remember, didn't really do anything for this team. So yeah, Ballard is bound and determined that that's not going to happen again, especially on the defense. And I don't think it will, Derek, because the depth here compared to last year, it's night and day, in my opinion. It's night and day. So, I mean, the fact that Brandon Faison is now your number 4 corner, I mean, if he's your number 4 corner, you feel pretty good about your corner depth right now. I mean, I think the only potential other position I could see them addressing is maybe defensive end, because it's more of a, who's playing behind the 2 starters, right? You could throw Dio, you could throw Tyquan Lewis, but they don't really have, outside Yannick, of course. I could see them going for more of a Kamoko Toure type of prospect. You know what I mean? Who's more of that situational pass rusher and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't really see much of a need on this defensive side. And what this does, Derek, is it allows you to just focus in on the offense, right? Mm-hmm. Whether that is finding your franchise quarterback, we've talked about that a little bit. Whether that is surrounding Matt Ryan with more weapons or getting him more protection, you now have more freedom with your first 3 picks to just do that, and that's a huge win in my book.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think now is the time when the depth does get answered much more in the draft when it comes to offense, because, yeah, like you said, I mean, you've got every starter at this point on your defensive side. You know who the lineup is. You're just adding a few pieces here and there for depth purposes, and really that's all Ballard has to do with it at this point. Now you just have to focus offense. Offense is now the key. You don't have to worry, at least this year, about going for a big name corner, right? Because now you can kind of see Stephon Gilmore will handle his own, at least for a while. And then you can see what you have in Isaiah Rodgers. And then you can go from there in a year or two when addressing the corner spot. So that's a good thing. It's another, I wouldn't even say it's a Band-Aid or even a bandage. It's more like an adhesive that really is going to hold that spot together for at least a little while. Again, the contract is really freaking great. And I'm so excited, dude. I'm so happy that they made this move. one, for content reasons. We needed some more in here because we haven't had it in a while.
Yeah.
It feels like a while since we've signed somebody that was like big blockbuster like this. But
probably the Matt Ryan thing was been the last time we've actually had like a legit like reason to go live, you know?
Yeah, we were jumping. You and I were jumpy, man. That was crazy.
That was crazy. Like literally like a minute after I saw it, I was like, oh boy, Derek. I don't know if Derek's like seen it, but he's gonna lose his mind.
Dude, my brother texted me first before I saw the update.
Really?
He texted me, and then like 5 seconds after he texted me, the Twitter alert popped up, and then I was like, wait, what? And then I saw it, and I'm like, yes! I literally jumped out of bed. I was in bed at the moment, and I just jumped out of bed.
Shout out to Chris Ballard for actually doing a move when we can both be live.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Thank you to the 300 people in here, by the way. Be sure to like the stream, please.
Yep. Where are we at? I'm just curious. We're at 82 likes, 83 likes. All right. There's like,
yeah, come on, y'all. We can get to 150 in here. Absolutely. If everybody liked that stream, man. Come on.
Yes, we get, and the reason why is because we push it out to more Colts Nation.
It pushes out to more people, yes.
More conversations, and more people excited for the Stephon Gilmore news, and we can talk together, build that community, all that good stuff. But yeah, man. Wow. Talk about a bombshell on a Friday, Good Friday. This was definitely a good Friday for the Colts. Getting a guy in Stephon Gilmore who now your defense is set, I think, honestly. Like all your starters, I think at this point.
And I mean, crazy. we heard what the Colts said about Stephon Gilmore. We kind of knew what that they viewed him as a very highly regarded corner because, I mean, what Irsay sent the jet. I mean, he doesn't do that to somebody unless he really wants that dude. The jet is still undefeated when we want players.
Yeah,
it's about right. That's about right.
When you see the jet, you know it's over. You know
it's coming. Irsay is making sure that Gilmore knew that he was appreciated and they wanted him. And and Ballard and everybody else was saying that we view Gilmore as a highly regarded corner. Still could be that number one piece for us. So now you don't have to worry anymore. Who's going to be the number one corner? You know that Stephon Gilmore, when he's healthy, he is the number one. You don't have to worry about that for a little while. Dude, let's go.
I would say, I'm trying to think the last time I've seen you this excited about a signing.
I know. And I wasn't even that excited about it yesterday. I think it might've just been because I was tired, but I actually got to sleep in this morning, and then I wake up with this news and I'm like, yes, it's a perfect way to start off my Good Friday.
Absolutely, guys. Yeah. And now we can, I mean, honestly, now you can breathe a sigh of relief. We're a couple weeks out, less than 2 weeks out from the draft. All right. We got our guy. We got our starting corner finally.
Right? Jeez. Man. Well, I mean, we're definitely going to be creating a few more videos here today. That's apparent. We got to talk a little bit more in depth on this, but again, thank you guys so much for tuning into this live stream. Do you have anything else, Cody, before we end up cutting off here?
No, I'd hate to leave all these 300 plus people though.
Oh man, yeah.
Let's just get into some comments.
I do have something, unfortunately, in like 20 minutes that I got to get to. Unfortunately,
right,
otherwise I would stay on and stay live.
Can we stay till like 10:35 and get through a few comments here?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's do that.
Oh man, about to be so disappointed with Matt Ryan. Why?
Probably a Titans fan getting in here.
Probably, yeah.
You think Titans fans are shaking in their boots right now?
Yeah, right. Stephon Gilmore about to lock down AJ Brown.
Yeah. So, okay. Updated mock here, Derek, of list of needs now for the Colts post Stephon Gilmore signing.
Wide receiver, tight end, wide receiver, left tackle, tight end. That's it for me.
That's it. That's all the needs.
That's what I'll go with. And then I would probably go as far as to say probably another corner. after that. I know that Stephon obviously fixes the issue for right now, but you still have a long-term need at number 1 corner for that.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. This is again, it's a 2-year deal. So like he's not locked in for the next 5 years or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I think I would go that same order there, but I would also add it for edge rush just because you don't really know if the Tyquan Lewis thing. Okay, where's Dio going to fit? I would just like another guy in that building. I don't think it has to be second, third, even maybe 4th round. I would say mid to late round, just another guy that can fill out the depth of that defensive line. That's really what I was saying, especially with Toure leaving. You don't really know what you're going to have in Ben Banigou. Just a guy to kind of compete with Ben Banigou, in my opinion. And maybe you can do that in free agency. There's probably still a few names out there that you could do that as well. But whatever that looks like, I think defensive end still probably just needs to be a little bit more filled with depth, in my opinion. But yeah, other than that, I think you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, maybe a corner as well. Like you talked about, maybe a mid-round corner. I would not be opposed to that either, because we all know how good Ballard does. I think I could see, because the Colts got some compensatory picks right in those later rounds. I could see one of those being on a corner. I mean, he's had some good success with guys like Isaiah Rodgers, for example. So why not? Why not throw another dart at the board and try to get another guy in here that won't really have to play a role, but good potentially down the stretch. So yeah. All right. If you had the choice between Julio or TY on a vet minimum, who would you choose? That's a good question, Derek. What do you think?
It's funny because I'll get roasted either way
exactly.
for this, because I mean, both of them are older, both of them are injury prone at this point. I mean, if I'm gonna be, I don't know, because like on one hand, I like TY because I know TY is familiar with the system, he's familiar with everything going on. But then again, Julio might have the higher ceiling at this point. If you had him, I honestly can't really choose. I'd probably say Julio just because the potential upside is still higher.
Yeah,
but that's about it.
That's tough, man. But yeah, look, and hear me out. I love TY. But yeah, I mean, I think Julio, it's so tough because it's like, okay, like I can make the argument for both sides. Like Julio had Matt Ryan, right? Whereas TY Hilton hasn't really had a consistent quarterback for the last couple of years. But Julio is a bigger type of wide receiver, and I feel like he can maybe make up for more of that, loss of ability more than a TY can, because TY is, a lot of what he does is based off of his speed. Now he's gotten a lot craftier as a route runner and things like that, but yeah, I think for kind of like we talked about with the Xavier Rhodes signing a couple off seasons ago versus a Pierre Desir signing. Now again, that's not an apples to apples comparison, but I think the point remains of the upside, right? Like I think Julio at this point still does have upside. He just hasn't been on the field, whereas TY, he was contemplating retirement last year. Like he was kind of right there. So I like Julio. I know a lot of people don't like that, but like even the connection with Matt Ryan makes a lot of sense to me. So I bet Pat McAfee's going crazy right now. I bet he is.
I bet he is. Yeah. He's just starting his show. So yeah, I mean, I would totally not be surprised.
Bro, I tell you what, after this, I'm going to be consuming so much Colts content.
Yeah, for real. Like, and for anyone that's asking about Landry, no, we're not getting Landry.
Unless he lowers his price.
Unless he lowers it to below $15 million a year, which he's not going to do. So
I wonder where, I know you have to go, Derek, so I'll keep it. But I wonder where that puts the Colts in terms of cap space right now.
I think somebody said like 10 million still left.
So you still could sign another guy.
Yeah, you can still sign. You can still sign another guy. There's still room to fix some of the cap. And the Colts could still fix up a few contracts to for some other stuff. But
yeah. Yep, I agree with that. It's all Christian Kirk's fault. We talked about that last time.
No, it's not Christian Kirk's fault. It's the Jaguars' fault.
It's both sides' fault.
The Jaguars'
It's both sides' fault. I don't blame
Jaguars' fault. That's not Kirk's fault. They offered him $80 million. Of course the man's going to take that. Of course he is. Look, if a company offered me $100,000 to go do a job tomorrow that I am somewhat qualified to get that paying job, I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say yes. I don't care. That's just their fault for paying me that much for a mediocre performance, but that's it. So
yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
It just sucked. But okay. That's not bad. That's not bad in terms of cap space at all. I kind of like that. Yeah.
I keep seeing people talk about this like as if it's a bad thing. Like, why is nobody talking about our third linebacker? Like, probably questioning what we have. Guys, Franklin and Speed played the entire Arizona game. Yeah. And they held Kyler Murray in check. Okay? Like, that's no small fault. Okay? They're good. Okay? Franklin has been in the system for a while. He can play. EJ Speed has speed, man. He can do anything. I'm not worried about the Colts linebacker depth. I'm not worried about it. We don't run a lot of 3 linebacker sets anyway. So I'm not worried about the linebacker depth. I'm not worried about it, honestly.
No, not at all. To me, EJ Speed showed me something in that Arizona game. Zaire Franklin as well. Yeah, I'm not concerned about linebacker. Honestly, that is probably my last concern at this point is linebacker.
Yeah, it's the linebacker spot in depth at this point. Honestly, I kind of trust the depth on our linebackers more than I did our cornerback and safety room a few minutes ago.
Derek, can I just roast you for a second?
Sure, whatever.
Will you give me that ability to do that?
Okay, what?
What
am I doing now?
Why is this? Sorry. All right. Here we go. You knew this was coming. Derek, can you explain yourself, please?
You know what? Yeah. You know,
you knew it's coming. But to be fair, we were all feeling that.
I will admit that I have my bad moments, and that was one of them. And I mean, ironically enough, I think that's actually the second most interacted tweet I've ever had in my life.
All right, everybody go roast Derek right now.
Y'all can go and roast me for that one. I was, and you know what? And what was it? It was that was March 17th, right? So that was the day after free agency started.
Yeah.
Am I right?
I think so.
Oh man. You know what? I apologize. You know what? Should I delete that tweet or should I just roast myself?
You should expose yourself because
I'm going to go and find it. I need to go try to find that tweet right now.
Somebody quoted it. That's how I saw it. So
somebody quoted it.
Yeah.
When? I didn't see it.
To it or something. I don't know. It was where was it? It was.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to retweet.
That's funny. Well, Colts Nation, hope you guys are enjoying just sitting here and just being happy with finally making a move. Biggest free agency move in a long time. Honestly, Derek, when do you think's the biggest move since then? I honestly am struggling to remember,
Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple of big ones, we've had a couple big ones this off season. I mean, sure. It's pretty much what it's mostly has been, the big splash guys. And then there's been maybe one or two, other free agent signings that have been weird, but, it's good. I love it. I love that Ballard's made another move and, is proving people wrong like myself that I doubted Ballard from the get-go when I shouldn't have, and I should have just sat back and just watched. But, it's a good reminder. It's honestly a humbling thing to say, okay, I got proven wrong. I'm glad that I did, actually. Yeah, I have no shame in taking back this tweet and saying that I was totally wrong. I'm glad I am. I'm glad I am, honestly.
Absolutely. No, you're good. I just thought it'd be funny because I saw that and it happens, But wow.
Oh, man.
We're past our time. Of course, we always do this. I know you have to go somewhere, Derek, but we'll be coming out, I'm sure, with some more videos regarding Stephon Gilmore to the Colts and just other thoughts and stuff like that. So, guys, be sure to hang with us as we will be making more content here. Maybe we'll get some guys on. Maybe I'll reach out to a few Colts colleagues of mine.
Somebody responded to that tweet and said, well, look what happens when somebody speaks up. I spoke up and somehow that got Ballard to do what he was doing.
Yeah, it was clearly you. He was watching your.
It was me. He was watching me get mad, galvanize Colts Twitter, and then he decided to do it on that a month later, by the way.
Yep. I'm just going to share this because I want to be happy and I want Colts Nation to be happy with me. I'm going to just share some Stephon Gilmore highlights. Will we get demonetized? I don't know.
Yeah, we probably would if we spent the highlights because, if it's property of the NFL, it always does. But either way, it doesn't matter.
So go see it. Go look up
as long as we don't copyright it.
Right. Go look up Stephon Gilmore right now. Look up his highlights. You'll be a very happy Colts fan. I'll just say that.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, that'll do it for our conversation around the Indianapolis Colts signing Stephon Gilmore 2 years, which is awesome. $14 million guaranteed, $23 million overall. Let us know your thoughts in the comments as well. If you're checking this out after we've gone live, let us know what your thoughts are. But thank you guys so much. As always, let us know what grade you'd give Chris Ballard this offseason, all those good things. As always, guys, go Colts.